Love the Eagles as much as we do? Then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. The rumors started quietly, almost like background noise in the endless sports talk universe, but it grew louder with every whisper shared behind studio doors. Derrick Henry, a name that already carries the weight of fear and respect, is being linked to the Eagles in a way that feels almost surreal. Sources close to the league suggest this choice was not random, but emotional, strategic, and deeply calculated. Henry reportedly sees something special in Philadelphia, a culture built on toughness and hunger, mirroring his own football identity. For a YouTube audience, this feels like one of those moments where the league shifts without warning. Fans imagine defenses already bracing themselves, coordinators losing sleep, and rivals pretending not to worry while secretly panicking. The Eagles represent power football, cold weather grit, and a city that celebrates physical dominance. Pairing that with Henry's downhill running style sounds less like a roster move and more like a warning shot to the entire conference. This is not about chasing headlines. It is about legacy. Henry choosing the Eagles would mean choosing chaos for the NFC, a decision that could redefine how teams prepare, draft, and even survive. The speculation alone is already changing conversations across locker rooms everywhere. When people around the league talk about this possible move, the word that keeps coming up is terror, not excitement. Derrick Henry in green feels like something pulled from a nightmare matchup film session. The Eagles' offensive line has long been respected for its brutality, and insiders suggest Henry sees that unit as the perfect extension of his running philosophy. He wants space, violence, and rhythm, and Philadelphia offers all of that in abundance. Rumors say conversations were less about money and more about fit, about how long he can dominate and how he wants to be remembered. Imagine the psychological impact alone before a snap is even played. Defensive fronts would line up already defeated, linebackers second-guessing their angles, safeties creeping forward with fear instead of confidence. For content creators, this is gold because it feels like the league allowing a super weapon to choose its battlefield. The NFC has teams built on speed and finesse, but Henry brings raw force. If this speculation turns real, it changes not only playbooks but attitudes. Suddenly finesse teams must relearn toughness because survival would demand it. What makes this rumor even more intriguing is how quiet the Eagles have been. No leaks, no denials, just silence, which in this league often speaks louder than any press release. People close to the situation claim that this secrecy is intentional, designed to let the shock hit all at once. Derrick Henry choosing Philadelphia would align with the franchise's identity of letting actions speak. For a YouTuber telling this story, the narrative writes itself. A king without a crown searching for the right kingdom, finding a city that thrives on blue-collar dominance. Fans speculate about snow games, clock control, and fourth quarters where opponents simply break. The idea is not just winning, but imposing will. Henry has always been about making defenses feel pain accumulate over time. Pair that with a fan base that feeds on aggression, and you have something combustible. Even rival fans admit this feels different, heavier. It is not flashy, it is inevitable. The rumor alone has already forced analysts to rethink depth charts and preseason expectations, because if Henry truly lands there, the balance of power shifts brutally. There is also the emotional side that people rarely discuss, but it matters. Derrick Henry has carried franchises, absorbed hits, and worn the weight of entire offenses. Insiders whisper that he wants a place where he does not have to be everything, only the most terrifying piece. The Eagles offer that balance, a system that can win in multiple ways, allowing Henry to pick his moments and maximize damage. This rumor paints a picture of efficiency married to violence. For content creators, the imagery is powerful. Green jerseys closing in, time draining, opponents watching hope fade. The NFC is full of talented teams, but talent alone does not stop force. Henry represents inevitability when used correctly. The speculation suggests coaches around the conference are already adjusting practice plans, adding bulk, preaching tackling fundamentals with renewed urgency. Even if nothing is official, the fear is real. That is how legends move markets and mindsets. Choosing the Eagles would not just be a football decision, it would be a statement about how the game can still be controlled through strength, patience, and relentless pressure. Another layer to this story is how perfectly Philadelphia's weather and atmosphere fit Henry's style. Cold, physical environments favor runners who enjoy contact, and Henry has always thrived when conditions get ugly. Rumors suggest this was a key factor in his thinking. He does not want perfect conditions, he wants resistance. The Eagles symbolize resistance. Fans imagine late-season battles where tackling becomes optional for the brave and mandatory for the desperate. This speculation is not about highlight runs alone, but about identity warfare. If Henry wears green, the Eagles become the standard for physical football again. Other teams would have to respond, not by copying but by surviving. YouTubers thrive on these moments because they feel historic before they are confirmed. The NFC has seen dominant backs before, but pairing one with this infrastructure feels excessive. It feels unfair. And yet, that is what makes it compelling. Henry choosing the Eagles would be less about chasing a ring and more about choosing the hardest path, the one that leaves no doubt about impact. As the rumor spreads, fan reactions have ranged from disbelief to dark humor. Some laugh nervously, others pretend it will never happen, but the conversation never stops. Derrick Henry has always commanded attention, but this potential choice amplifies it. The Eagles do not sell dreams, they sell work, and Henry is built for work. Speculation suggests mutual respect formed quickly, built on shared values rather than flashy promises. This is why the rumor feels credible. It is not forced. It feels organic. Content creators frame it as destiny aligning with opportunity. If this move happens, it will not need hype because the consequences will speak. Defenses will feel it, fans will feel it, and the NFC will feel smaller, tighter, more dangerous. Until anything becomes official, this remains a whisper, but it is a whisper loud enough to rattle an entire conference. The second part of this speculation dives deeper into the ripple effects that such a decision would create across the NFC landscape. If Derrick Henry truly aligns himself with the Eagles, the immediate response from rival franchises would be panic disguised as planning. Coaches would publicly downplay it, but privately they would scramble. This is the kind of move that forces teams to reconsider roster philosophy overnight. Speed is exciting, but speed does not stop power consistently. The rumor suggests that Henry's presence alone would dictate how games are approached, even before kickoff. Control the clock, control the mood, control the violence. That is the Eagles' way, and Henry fits it like armor. For a YouTube narrator, this is where the story becomes cinematic. One player altering the emotional temperature of an entire conference. The NFC is known for parity, but this threatens that balance. Teams built on finesse suddenly feel exposed. Defensive coordinators would need to invent courage as much as schemes. The speculation paints a picture of a conference bracing itself, hoping the rumor fades, knowing deep down that if it becomes real, nothing will be the same. There's also the business side, which rarely stays quiet for long. Jersey sales, primetime attention, and narrative dominance would follow Henry to Philadelphia instantly. Insiders whisper that the league loves stories like this because they feel mythic. A powerful runner choosing the city that embraces power football creates symmetry. For content creators, it becomes endless material. Every carry analyzed, every stiff arm replayed, every defensive collapse dissected. The rumor suggests Henry understands this spotlight and welcomes it. He is not chasing comfort. He is chasing meaning. The Eagles offer a stage where dominance is celebrated, not questioned. Fans do not ask how, they ask how hard. This cultural fit is why the speculation refuses to die. It makes sense emotionally, strategically, and historically. Even opposing fans admit it would be terrifyingly logical. The NFC, already competitive, would gain a new axis of fear, centered on a runner who punishes hesitation. Another consequence discussed in whispers is how young defenders would be affected. Facing Derrick Henry regularly changes careers. It forces players to confront physical limits early. The rumors suggest veteran defenders are already mentoring younger teammates differently, emphasizing leverage and survival. That alone shows the power of speculation. Henry's reputation precedes him, and pairing it with the Eagles magnifies it. YouTube storytellers love this angle because it humanizes the fear. This is not just about schemes, but about bodies colliding and confidence tested. If Henry chooses Philadelphia, every matchup becomes personal. The Eagles thrive on that emotional edge. They do not seek approval, they seek dominance. This rumor feels like an invitation to chaos, one that the conference cannot ignore. Even if it never materializes, the idea has already shifted mental preparation across the NFC, proving how influential a single decision can be. The narrative also touches on legacy conversations. Derrick Henry's career has already secured respect, but this move would redefine his story arc. Instead of being remembered solely as a dominant runner, he becomes a symbol of conference domination. The Eagles offer a chance to be feared in a new way, against familiar rivals who already dread physical football. Speculation suggests Henry wants to test himself against the best defenses repeatedly, not hide in comfort. This choice would signal confidence bordering on defiance. For YouTube audiences, this is compelling drama. It frames Henry not as a mercenary, but as a warrior choosing the hardest battlefield. The NFC becomes the stage, the Eagles the weapon, and Henry the force. Fans imagine post-game silence in opposing stadiums, not because of scores, but because of exhaustion. This is the kind of rumor that lives because it feels authentic, rooted in personality rather than rumor mill noise. There is also an unspoken challenge embedded in this speculation. If Derrick Henry chooses the Eagles, he challenges the league to respond physically. No more hiding behind speed alone. The rumors suggest this could influence draft strategies, free agency priorities, and even coaching hires. Power football would regain prestige. For content creators, this is where analysis turns philosophical. Is the league ready to embrace brutality again, or will it resist? Henry in Philadelphia forces that question. The Eagles have never apologized for being physical, and Henry has never apologized for punishing defenders. Together, they represent a throwback mentality with modern efficiency. The NFC, full of innovation, would need to innovate against force. That tension fuels the rumor, making it impossible to ignore. Even neutral fans find themselves drawn in, because this feels like a turning point rather than a transaction. As this speculation continues to circulate, one thing becomes clear. Derrick Henry choosing the Eagles would not be subtle. It would be loud in its consequences, quiet in its announcement, and overwhelming on the field. The rumor has already achieved something rare. It has united fan bases in shared anxiety. Some hope it happens, others pray it does not, but everyone is watching. For a YouTube channel built on narrative and emotion, this is the perfect storm. A powerful player, a brutal city, and a conference bracing for impact. Until reality confirms or denies it, the idea alone will continue to haunt the NFC, reminding everyone that sometimes the most terrifying moves are the ones that make the most sense. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The more the rumor spreads, the more layers of speculation seem to unfold, almost like peeling an onion of anticipation and dread. Sources suggest that if Henry joins the Eagles, even routine practice sessions could become events of psychological warfare. Defenders would line up knowing the sheer force heading their way, and coaches would have to reconsider not only schemes, but how to maintain morale. The narrative almost writes itself. A man who embodies physical inevitability entering a team built to amplify every ounce of that power. For YouTube content, this becomes a storyline that blends suspense with awe, because every imagined play feels like a preview of chaos. Henry's very presence would redefine expectations for endurance and punishment. It's not just football, it's a message. And the rumor hints that he is aware of this impact, perhaps even embracing it, knowing that his choice alone could shift the NFC's emotional balance before a single snap is taken. In addition, insiders whisper that the Eagles' locker room culture might have been the magnet for Henry's interest. This is a team that rewards toughness, persistence, and self-sacrifice over flash and individual statistics. Henry reportedly values a system where physical dominance is appreciated and encouraged, where punishment is part of the plan and not a byproduct. The speculation suggests that he sees Philadelphia as a place where his style can flourish without compromise, where each carry reinforces identity and fear simultaneously. For fans, this paints a cinematic image. Henry barreling through defensive lines, defenders beaten down not just by skill, but by the inevitability of force meeting preparation. Even if the rumor never materializes, imagining this scenario is enough to unsettle rivals. It's storytelling at its rawest, where speculation carries as much weight as reality, and where anticipation becomes a tool of psychological impact on the entire conference. Another angle fueling the rumor is how the media would frame the move if it happens. Derrick Henry in an Eagles uniform would dominate headlines not only for performance, but for symbolism. Analysts would dissect every yard gained, every defensive breakdown, every strategic decision with feverish attention. Social media would explode with clips, debates, and memes, amplifying the legend before it even unfolds. The rumor suggests that Henry understands this, recognizing the power of narrative alongside the physical domination he brings to the field. YouTube channels, podcasts, and sports shows would spend hours exploring what this decision means, from draft implications to the emotional impact on rival fan bases. Even beyond football, the story resonates because it speaks to choosing challenge, embracing physicality, and redefining expectations. Speculation alone has already created a cultural event, a moment of tension that feels tangible and immediate. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.